Coming up during this measure across Indiana, what do you get when you mix hound dogs with music? Violins, of course. We'll tell you what one Hoosier's doing to make his instruments howl. And it's terrific to see you once again, Hoosier neighbors. I'm Michael Atwood, your tour guide for Across Indiana, where we bring you stories about the history, events, and people that make Indiana the greatest state in the nation. In the 1940s, many Hoosiers were called to serve in World War II. Among them was Richmond, Indiana's Bob Borton. While in the service, his duties eventually took him to France as a replacement in the Third Army. From there, his company set out on an attack that would change his life and the lives of those he loved forever. Independent producer Eric Hilbert, Sam McDonough, and Cheryl McDowell bring us the story of this Hoosier, once believed to be a casualty of war.
On the morning of November 16, 1944, after spending the night in a farmhouse, PFC Bob Borton, as part of the Third Army, went out on an attack. Their objective was to take and occupy Gribling, France, 5 miles away.
As we left the farmhouse in four columns of 5 yards apart from each guy, we got everybody cleared out and into this field, across these fields, and the Germans spotted us through some unknown location and directed 88 screaming Mimis that the Germans had on the middle of all of us in these columns. And these 88 shells were dropping every 10, 20, 30 feet, who knows. And it was just devastating our company. Across this creek and climbed up this bank and looked back and saw guys spread all over for half a mile or something. Just some of them had a couple of medics hovering over them, but they were wounded and they were dead and they were it was a mess. My guess would be that only 3 out of our original group in my weapons platoon of 24, 25 guys. That's a pretty low percentage to get across, and I presume there was a similar percentage of the riflemen in the rifle platoon. So there probably weren't, that day the company probably lost, I don't know how many, 120 out of 180 guys maybe.
Due to the high number of casualties, the commanding officers were unable to distinguish the missing from the dead. As a result, telegrams were sent to every soldier's family.
That's 5th Street, and over here is a little black stamp dated December 4th, 1944, 2:55 p.m. It says, "The Secretary of War desires me to express his deep regret that your son, Private Robert G. Borton, has been reported missing in action since 16th November in France. If further details or other information are received, you will be promptly notified."
The next day, upon arriving in Gribling, France, he was able to write a quick Christmas card home to his parents. The card, which seemed so simple at the time, turned into a source of hope for a grieving family.
My letter arrived at my parents' house a week or two after they had received a notification, a telegram saying that I was missing in action on the 16th. And that created quite a bit of concern and hope for them. So they contacted the Red Cross right away to say, "What's going on here?" When I got home, of course, they were very happy, and they never said much about it either. I mean, about their condition, the way they had, what they had gone through, which I hadn't really given too much thought of. I had other things to think about, really. He never really, there wasn't much for him to do, he could do, other than try to maintain some idea from the media or newspapers or whatever what was going on. But I'm sure he was upset. So I felt pretty lucky to have been, I felt somebody was looking over me pretty carefully to have survived those kind of odds when so many other guys never made it.